I am back and I am answering your questions, so let's get started. The first question comes from Fatima, and that question is how to genuinely get to the root cause of an emotion. I've gotten really good at pretending it's not there and rejecting it to try and live in the end, but it's backfiring. And I actually followed up just so I was clear, and the next part of the question is believing I'll do well the day of the exam, not doing well, reflecting and realizing I was just fooling myself and trying to make it manifest. Well, the first part is the idea that I was just fooling myself. So you've got to understand how you really feel about yourself, about your capacity, about your talent, about your intelligence. That outside thing, that outside exam is not the reason you're intelligent or not. It's simply an expression. And that is also to say that that exam is not the sole expression of your intelligence. So many different people have different levels of genius and brilliance, which brings up the idea, is a fish good at climbing trees? No. Is it really good in water? Absolutely. Is a lion great at swimming in water? I actually don't know, but I would imagine no, because they're very dense. They have lots of muscles. They're really good at running and doing things of physical strength. So starting to understand this, that if you have a view of yourself that you're not intelligent, maybe you had a very critical caregiver and your perception of how they viewed you was not smart. Maybe they directly told you weren't smart. No matter what it is, when you're now relating to the outside world, you're relating through how they viewed you. So rather than you having a clear view of yourself, you continue to go back through that caregiver. The interesting part to me about the second comment was that you were just fooling yourself. So that to me shows that there's an underlying, I'm not that good, things never work out. Oh, look, see, I knew it wouldn't happen. There is a difference between assuming something and hoping it happens, thinking of that experience in reality, and actually it living in your body. Somebody who is good at exams, somebody who's intelligent, right? They're going to move in the world. They're going to consume information. They're going to live in it. They're going to be convicted of their intelligence. That means also too that this exam result is not the only reason they feel intelligent. It's simply an expression. So before the exam, are you hoping for a good exam? Studying the same ways, taking in the same content that you normally do? If you see yourself as not very smart, not intelligent, not good at exams, in that sense, you're thinking of the change in your experience, but you're still being in the old way. So again, there's so many different ways that you could be experiencing this, if it's about your intelligence, if it's about just you not being able to get what you want, have that experience. You have to see who you are being. What are your thoughts and what are your feelings? You're not wrong or bad if they're not in alignment, but what you can say is, oh, okay, the words of Jim Cathcart, how would the me that I want to be do what I'm about to do? Study for the exam, take the exam, find the results from the exam. Are you looking at the exam and saying, oh, look, see, I knew it. Low grade, I'm not worth much. You're saying, oh, interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to my professor. I'm going to go to my teacher and I'm going to say, hey, what happened here? How can you learn more about yourself? How can you learn more about what you needed and how you could have studied differently that will help get you to that desired experience, as opposed to this outside circumstance is now I'm affirming that that's who I am. The more and more you see the outside is simply reflection, feedback, and the meaning about yourself that you're putting on it is the limitation. Because failure really doesn't happen. You could not do it yet and gain experience from that attempt that didn't go how you wanted it, and improve and actually be better off because of that experience. The more and more you see it this way, the more and more you'll be able to realize the outside is only an expression of the inside. What meaning are you giving on that exam score? Are you making it affirm that you're not very smart, that you're not good, that you never get what you want? How can you learn to live now in the energy of the person you want to be and not just think of it? The more you ask yourself these questions, the more you are that person at a cellular level. That means absolute conviction that if the next 5 exams don't go great, you're going to learn each time, and all that information is still helping you to be that ultimate vision of you. The more and more you change the meaning on what you put on the results, on the outside reflection, the more empowering that can be for your experience. Now, the next question comes from Ariel Harp, and that question is, do you have to consciously identify all and major limiting beliefs and change them, or is it sufficient enough to step into the state of the person who has your desire and embody those beliefs and continue life in that state of being? Well, the answer is yes. The answer is, as you learn to see, you don't have to identify all of them, because really it's like a tree. A lot of limiting beliefs actually have a core belief. So I'm not good enough could have different branches and experiences for your life of I'm not attractive, that's why they reject me. Oh, look, I don't get this job application, they always reject me. And it goes down to the core belief of I'm not good enough, right? And it could be everyone always rejects me, I'm always left alone. And those branches of experience could look different, but at the core, it is the same belief. It's common belief. So yes, it's important to identify them so you can release them. But at the end of the day, the reason you want to identify them is so you let go of them. This is more of a Dr. Joe Dispenza approach, because his whole thing is basically let go of the you think you are, right? Breaking the habit of being yourself. If you can let go your personality, which all your beliefs are attached to, is just the same as a shirt. So I can change this shirt. I can take this shirt off, put another one on. You can let go of the you're being right now that is contained with all those limiting beliefs and all that pain and trauma and all that. And then you can step into the version you desire, which has the beliefs of expansion, which has success, which is all about love. So yes, you can do both. So ultimately, it's about letting go. How you do that, I have found, can be different to everybody. There's no right or wrong way. The thing that matters most is your experience, is you being able to see that basically your personality is a coping mechanism. You've learned different ways of being, and that's been successful. You've gotten your needs met to the degree that you can, and you've stayed alive. So if you can see, okay, part of that personality potentially has limiting beliefs like I have to work for love, or people are always emotionally unavailable, I have to chase them. Again, yes, you can let that go completely and step into the you, that being, and we're talking about it at a cellular level, the thoughts and the feelings and the conviction that that is you. So if you can do that, that is wonderful. Let the old one go and step into the new one. A lot of times people struggle because there are some rewards when you're in the old way of being, because it's familiar. It's comfortable. Even suffering, there's a familiarity. There's a suffering and maybe victimization. I know in my life personally, I was getting something from being a victim. I would get coddled. I would get comforted. Oh, poor baby. Oh, I can't believe they're doing that to you. I felt some sense of protection and people cared about me. So to let go of that victimhood really requires me to let go of those benefits or rewards I was getting from being a victim. So the more clear you get on, okay, what could I be getting out of this, on why I can't let it go? What unconsciously do I need to be aware of so that I can fully let it go and step into this new ideal version of you? So to summarize again, yes, ultimately it's about letting it go. How you do it, absolutely. Dr. Joe's meditations are about basically going and tapping into the field, the quantum field, and realizing we're not just this body. This body is an expression of us, but we are not our body. We are not our past. The more you can see that, you can let go of it, and you can re-reason and see things, change your perspective, change your perception of things, and the more you'll completely be able to experience life, even your current life, because you yourself are in a different state of expression, a different state of being. So I hope that answers your question. And the last questions come from Being Love, and that question is, why is it important to release attachment to what we want, and how to release it? Also, can you talk about accepting the current reality? First thing I want to do is answer that last part, accepting the current reality. And I'm going to look at it through the lens of me 5 years ago. If somebody were to say, accept your current reality, I would hear, you're not going going to get what you want. You have to deal with the leftovers. So I want to make it clear that accepting your current reality is more about seeing your current reality clearly as it is, in contrast to seeing your reality through the lens of all your wounds and all your perceptual biases. So see your current reality as it is so that you can see yourself better, make the internal shifts by using that external feedback, use that for internal shifts, and then ultimately you'll be able to experience what you actually want to experience. Now, if you deny reality, if you push it away and say, no, that's not real, you're missing clues that can help give you information to make the changes that you want to get what is in alignment with that realm. So I really hope that clears it up, because again, the idea of you got to deal with your current reality, that would be horrible, because you don't want your current reality, but really looking and seeing it and saying, okay, what inside of me is attracting this? What old wounds am I seeing in this dynamic? So now the second part about attachment. So if you're attached to something, and again, this is something close to my heart, because these are things that I have struggled with and continue to work on, because I would be very, very attached to relationships. And what another way of saying it is, without it, I am less. Because again, if I am attached to this candle, that means I can't let it go. I have to hold it, because if this goes, then I'm going to be less. So what are you going to get a reflection of? You're going to get a reflection of that lack. The mentality, that idea that you're not whole and complete as you are, that you need this attachment, so you are. And again, you're going to get a reflection of that lack that you perceive of yourself, because that's the whole thing. You perceive that you don't have what you need without the relationship. You perceive that you don't have what you need, that this thing outside of you is going to give you something that you can't give yourself. If it's about a relationship, if it's about money, if it's about a job. And be very clear about what I'm saying. Yes, I am advocating for secure, loving relationships. I'm not saying go live in a house by yourself and meet all your needs, because I don't believe in that. I believe in interdependent relationships. But you've got to have a sense of independence and know yourself so that you can know how to communicate your needs, what your needs are, what your stuff is versus other people's stuff. So again, the reason it's important to release attachment is for you to take up the full space of yourself and not make yourself less and live off the idea that you're not enough without this thing, that this thing is going to give you something that you don't have access to without it. So oftentimes people do this with relationships and regarding specific person. And there's a fixation, there's an obsession. And what you got to understand is that what you're saying is that without this person, I am lacking, I am not enough. And again, that's who you're being. That's your perception of yourself. So you're going to get a reflection in your outside reality of what your perception is to you, how you relate to yourself. That's how the world is going to relate to you. So if you feel like you're not enough, you don't have it all, that you're not whole and complete, you're going to get treated that way. You're going to find people who have opposing wounds, and y'all's dynamics are going to play that out ultimately, so you can see the power of yourself, that you are worthy of love, that you are whole and complete, and that it is okay to set boundaries away from you. How other people perceive of those boundaries is a reflection of themselves. The more you can start to allow, because letting go, because if you're holding on to I don't have, when you let go, what do? You give yourself the option to receive. And as long as you're holding on to something you don't have, you'll continue to get that reflection. So how can you open up to receiving that maybe the universe has something else better for you in mind, and you holding the energy, the essence of the outcome of experiencing that is what will draw it into you. The more you get clear on the idea you have of what you'd get, the essence of the outcome of experiencing love, experiencing money, or a job, what is the essence? What end feeling is it going to give you? Start tapping into that right now. It's going to allow you to release the idea that you don't have it, because you're going to start seeing it. You're going to tap into abundance of it, which will allow that to open up the channel of you actually receiving that experience, because it's going to be an expansion, not the source. The common theme of this question is really starting to shift subconscious beliefs. And if you're struggling with that, this video right here is going to help you to uncover what unconscious beliefs you could have. Thank you so much for your questions and for trusting me with them. Thank you for watching. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.